Welcome up! You may remember this video from 2 weeks ago. If you don't, click on the video from the card on the top right corner and then come back here. In fact, today we're talking about the second round of presidential elections in the Republic of Moldova. The first round has seen Maia Sandu prevail over the incumbent Igor Dodon with 36.16% of the preferences over 32.61%. Until midnight of the 1st of November, it seemed like Dodon had a 4% margin over Sandu. But the counting of 150,000 votes from the diaspora, Moldavians living abroad, has overturned the result, and Sandu has been leading this first round of elections. To win, the incumbent really needs the votes of the diaspora, which has voted overwhelmingly for Sandu, giving 70% of their preferences to the pro-European candidate and leaving for Dodon only 3.59% of the preferences. Whoever reads news on the Republic of Moldova will know that the diaspora is a key economic actor that guarantees the survival of the average Moldavian family through remittances. Instead, immediately after the first round of elections, Dodon labeled them as a parallel electorate out of touch with the needs of their compatriots. A few days later, Dodon took a step back and said that he doesn't like the word diaspora because they are fellow Moldavians, and if re-elected, he will do everything in his power to create the conditions for them to return to live and work in their country of origin. Hence, at the eve of this second round, the roles of Dodon and Sandu have somehow switched. If you remember, before the first round of elections, Sandu organized a debate and Dodon did not show up, while this time the incumbent did not ask for one but for two confrontations, and he did not obtain even one of them. Before the first round of elections, Dodon said he had consulted a psychic that, reading signs in the eggs, had found out that there won't be a second round of elections, suggesting that he would have won immediately with more than 50% of the preferences. The initial results of the elections proved the prediction wrong, and as a reaction to this, Sandu made a TikTok where she cooked an omelette, breaking the eggs, referring of course to the eggs of Dodon's psychic. A movement of Dodon supporters marched through the capital, Chisinau, to show that the incumbent has still a strong following. At the end of the manifestation, the Moldavian president was really harsh on the oppositions, saying that they have crossed the line and they won't understand until they get hurt. The 6 candidates that lost at the first round of the elections pledged support to one of the 2 rivals. Tudor Deliu, Dorin Chirtoaca, Octavian Țicu, Andrei Nastase, and Renato Usati pledged support to Maia Sandu. Some of them even trying to pose some conditions to their support, while Idar Shor, leader of the party Shor that supported Violeta Ivanov at the presidency, referred at Maia Sandu as Maia Terminator, explaining that if she gets elected, she will close social stores and schools due to the pandemic. The programs of the 2 candidates are very expensive. According to calculations by Journal MD, if realized, the program of Dodon will cost 120 billion Moldavian lei, corresponding to 10 to 11% of the Moldavian GDP, while Sandu's program will cost from 50 to 55 billion lei, corresponding to 5% of the GDP. Almost forgetting that they do not represent the executive, the candidates have made tens of electoral promises. Analyzed by Alegeri MD, the electoral program of Maia Sandu is constituted by 156 points, 51 of which cannot be realized by a president of the Republic. Dodon made 109 promises, 77 of which are incompatible with the powers and duties of a president. In the meantime, Promolex, an NGO monitoring the regularity of Moldavian elections, assessed that both candidates have violated the law on electoral campaigns, having used both administrative as well as undeclared funds. In between the rounds of elections, last Monday, Prime Minister Ion Chicu has changed 5 of its ministers, as the leader of the Democratic Party, Pavel Filip, had announced that his party's ministers would resign and withdraw both from the government and the coalition. The Democratic Party has now only 11 deputies, half of its original deputies, as many of them left to join the parliamentary group Pro-Moldova, along with former deputies of the party Shor. Therefore, the government is now supported by 14 deputies of the group Pro-Moldova and 37 members of the Socialist Party. Many have speculated that if Dodon will lose elections, then he will remain in politics thanks to the government. In fact, while running as an independent candidate, Igor Dodon is de facto the godfather of the Socialist Party. Interviewed at Internetul Grăiește, Maia Sandu was asked what she will do if the parliament will support Igor Dodon as new prime minister. She tried to avoid answering the question, stating that she will not support an imposed government. It is clear that she won't have a choice but to appoint the candidate backed by the parliament. In fact, in the past years, Dodon has been suspended many times by the Constitutional Court for exceeding his powers as president, as he refused to sign laws passed by the parliament. But today is election day, and soon we'll see who will win. Votato?
Da. Bene. L'hai visto? Te lo vicino. As an attempt to make voters go and vote, a lot of places in Chisinau decided to give away free coffee, beer, or sparkling wine, from what we've noticed so far. So we came to drink a coffee.
Dodon si è riferito alla diaspora come a un elettorato parallelo che non comprende le esigenze dei moldavi che abitano nel paese, sono fuori sincrono, non in sintonia. Prima di tutto mi sentirei di contestare questo tipo di affermazione.
So it's midnight and 10 minutes and we were watching TV Opt, and after processing 96% more or less of the votes here in Moldova, without counting all the votes from the diaspora, but some already, Maia Sandu has been declared the winner of this election. It's 8:20 here in Chisinau. Yesterday the turnout was 52.78% of people, so roughly 5% more than in the previous round. And the diaspora more than doubled its presence, voting in different countries worldwide, 300,000 people. So far the result is pretty clear because 99.91% of the sections have already been scrutinized, and there is a clear winner. Maia Sandu obtained more than 57% of the votes. So it really remains to see now how in the next few weeks she will frame her relationship with the government of Ion Chicu, that, as we said yesterday, is supported by the Socialist Party. It remains to see whether Dodon will concede peacefully or he will protest and contest the elections as Donald Trump is trying to do in the United States. And it remains to see whether he will remain in politics, maybe as a minister of government Chicu, or maybe as a new prime minister in the next few weeks or months. We will see. I'm Understanding Politics. Thank you for watching.